Hello guys and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to get started on canning maple glazed carrots. Now this maple glazed carrot recipe is from Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead. I will leave a pinned comment with a link to her channel in the comment section so you can go watch her video. And this comes from her. And I use the maple glazed carrots in my twisted carrot cake jam recipe. So, I'm going to teach you how to make the maple glazed carrots so you can then turn around and make the twisted carrot cake jam with me. But in order to make the maple glazed carrots, we got to make the maple water. So, we're going to add equal parts maple syrup to equal parts water. And I'm looking at trying to make a dozen jars of maple glazed carrots. So we're going to need 4 cups of maple syrup and 4 cups of water. And then you just put it in a crock pot on high for a couple of hours till it all combines together really well. And that's all there is to making the maple sauce that goes in the carrots. So I gotta get this open. I'm going to get this all filled up and we'll be back, you guys. Alright guys, let's hope my husband can turn the saturation up, but it's kind of hard to see maple syrup and water in a black crock pot, so you just have to bear with me. Maybe he can do something, but all we do now that the maple syrup and water are together, make sure you mix it up really well so you don't have maple syrup on the bottom that burns in the crock pot, and then you ruin all of this good maple syrup sauce for your carrots. Alright, all mixed up. All we're going to do is stick this in the crock pot till it on high till it comes up and gets nice and warm. Doesn't evaporate, but mixes together nice and warm and evenly. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to plug it in and we'll be back, you guys. Alright guys, there we have it. We took all the carrots and we washed and sliced and diced them. Make sure you always remove the tips and the tops of the carrots. You never want to can those. And then I boiled them in boiling water for 5 minutes. It helps with the canning process, because you want to make sure that the carrots get cooked all the way through in the canner. And since carrots are a really tough root vegetable, you want to boil them for 5 minutes before we pack them into our jars. Alright, we're going to pack these into our jars because I've only got a couple of jars of maple glazed at the moment and we want more. So, sliced, diced, boiled, cleaned, ready to go to pack for more jars. We'll be back. Alright guys, I am losing my voice quite bad because I have filmed and talked a lot in the last 24 hours. So please just bear with me. Alright, now you just take your maple syrup juice. Now if you want your maple syrup or maple glazed carrots to be stronger, you can mix your maple flavor stronger, definitely. Instead of doing, 2 for 1, or 1 cup to 1 cup, you can do 2 cups of maple syrup to 1 cup of water and make it as strong as you want. Now, we don't like super sweet or super flavored maple carrots, so I do it 1 cup for 1 cup. And then we fill our jars with carrots, as you can see, up to the rim. And put our maple syrup juice in there. And then you debubble, which means you go around the whole thing, around the outside, and get in there, and get down in the middle, and then push your carrots down in. And then we're going to put our lids and rings on them, and prepare them for the pressure canner. So I'm going to keep filling these up, and I'm going to debubble everything. I will be back, you guys. Alright, guys. In here, I've got water and apple cider vinegar. And you just wipe, clean the rims, and this gives you a chance to do a final inspection on all the jars. And then I always dip my lids. My lids are all clean because I wash them and dry them and send them through a wash and sterilization cycle. Like my jars, I don't boil them. My jars, I bake them in the oven on 250 degrees for 15 minutes. But I do wash the rim lids and then put them in warm water. Well, a little bit more than warm water, but not hot, for about 15 minutes. And I pull them out and dry them. And I put them with their rings so that they can go on the jars. I think I forgot to clean that one. It always helps when you have the lids and rings together before you put them on, because then you have less chance of having to touch the lids after you've sterilized them. Alright guys, I'm going to get the rest of these done and we'll be back. Alright guys, there we have it. 10 out of the 12 jars into the canner. And then to help with preventing of cloudiness in the jars, I always add my apple cider vinegar water. Then we want to put our lid on. Check to make sure that that is free. And then I always check through here to make sure that that is free. And I always check to make sure your valve is working good. And we're just gonna put our canner on here. Turn our canner on medium high, about 8, and we just let it go. And then this will start boiling on the inside, and then this will pop up, and then we'll get a full steam out of there. I'll bring it back when it's at a full steam so you can see what it's like. Oh, I totally forgot to tell you processing time. It's 30 minutes processing for pints of carrots and 45 minutes for quarts. Alright guys, we'll be back. Alright guys, that is a full vent. I don't know if it's so hard to get you to see what it looks like on camera venting, but I'm sure you can hear it. Oh, there we can go. There you can see it a little bit. That is a full vent. We let it vent for 10 minutes so it can release as much pressure as possible, and then we'll put our weight on it and wait for that to come up to pressure and start jiggling. So we'll be back. Alright, there we have it, you guys. It's been 10 minutes, so we're going to put our weight on it. Always make sure that the weight you use is for your elevation. The elevation I'm at requires 7 pounds, so I use 10. You always want to go up to the next weight. You never want to go down. And then all we're going to do is let this come up to a rattle, and then we're going to process our pint jars of maple glazed carrots for 30 minutes. We'll be back, you guys. Alright guys, that is processing. A nice, steady, even jiggling that doesn't speed up or slow down. Stays nice and steady. Now we're going to set our timer for 30 minutes and let it can. We'll be back. Alright guys, it's been 30 minutes. We're just going to turn it off. We're not going to touch it. We're not going to mess with it. We're not going to force it to cool down. We're going to let it sit, come completely down on its own. This will fall, and that's when you'll know that the canner has cooled. Then we'll remove the weight and slowly open the lid away from us. Alright, you guys, we'll be back. And there we have it, you guys. That has popped down. There's no more steam coming off. When you jiggle this, there's no more pressure. So we can remove it. Slowly open it. Crack it away from your face always, because that is really hot steam. I apologize profusely for my voice. This is like the 8th or 9th video I've filmed, and my voice is can't handle it. Alright, now we're just going to let these sit and cool for 5 minutes before we lift them up and out. We'll be back, you guys. Alright guys, they've cooled down. We're going to remove them. You want to make sure you don't tilt them one way or the other. Keep them as straight up and down as possible. You don't want anything getting underneath the lid and preventing it from sealing. Alright, I'm going to let these sit for 12 hours. And then we'll come back and check on them. So you can see what they look like when they're all done.
She's waiting.